Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wealth Done with me, your host, Norbert BM. Today is the weekend edition where we go over our portfolio, what we bought, what we sold, and why we did it. Also going to go over the stock market and do some risk assessment for the next week. So let's just jump right into it. The S&P and the Nasdaq had a huge sell-off last week, although until roughly Wednesday, I believe. 11, that was Monday. Then Tuesday started the hard sell-off. So Friday, it closed on positive. Then Monday started the sell-off, and we went and sold off the entire week. So maybe the next week will be a bit better. But for now, after the presidential election, after the huge rally of Trump winning the presidential election, now we know that he has the House, he has the Senate, or the Republican Party, at least. Everything sold off, pretty much gold sold off. Bitcoin came to new highs. Bitcoin just broke through the, let's see here, the $91,000, which is the highest it has ever been. I suggest to take some profits here because everything that goes up, gravity will have a talk with it. So we had a huge sell-off last week, except in bank spec did exceptional. Also, Disney reported earnings. It went up, it went down, then it went up again. So we're going to talk about how our portfolio did, how our portfolio handled these little changes. So let's go to our portfolio and let's start off with what we actually sold. We closed our position in FedEx. FedEx, which is just a great company. We bought it for a trading position, so we couldn't hold it much longer. We did a really good profit on FedEx. We sold it 2 times. Now it is still in a buying MACD signal here. Also, it's not oversold, but we did take some profits, and we did actually take all of the profits because we needed the money for something else. We're going to talk about that just in a couple of seconds. We also sold off completely Dick's Sporting Goods. I was actually expecting much more from Dick's Sporting Goods. Maybe it's going to explode in the next couple of weeks and we're going to regret our selling, but Dick's was also a trade position for us. We bought it, we sold it, we made some profits, and that's it. We made a real small profit. We also sold Annaly Capital Management. We got what we came for, and we're waiting Annaly Capital Management to have a pullback. Maybe then we're going to add back to the position. Remember, this is a high dividend yielding stock, 13.2%. We already got our first dividend. The next dividend is going to be, I believe, in December or something like that. So if there is an opportunity, we'll buy back Annaly Capital Management. Also, we sold our entire position in Procter & Gamble. This was, once again, although please, by all means, if you have Procter & Gamble, do not sell it. It's a great company. Will have, over the years, exceptional returns. But keep in mind, it is actually a safe haven for, let's say, harder times. And for the next couple of weeks and months, I expect the stock market to just rocket up. And this is why we do not see at the moment Procter & Gamble to be a long-term investment. Also, we sold our complete position. We had a really large position in Vanguard Treasury. Vanguard US Treasury bonds is a mixed bond. It also had a really good yield. I think the ex-date was on last Tuesday, and we closed our position after that on Friday. We got our profits. We locked in those dividends that we're going to receive from them, and we needed the money because the stock market is just ripping downwards. So we figured that this is going to be a pretty good buying position for a couple of stocks. So what did we buy? Let's go. First of all, go over our portfolio. We have our cash position currently. Let's see, where's our cash? At 3.4% of our portfolio. And Lululemon, because we didn't add to Lululemon, we didn't do actually anything. It's at number 2 with 6.82% of our portfolio. In the moment that I saw Lululemon declining, I opened the first position. Now, this was back a couple of months ago, a lot of months back. But Lululemon since then declined and now started rising again. I would be really careful with Lululemon. This is not a buying pitch for me. It's just Lululemon is climbing and it has had good results in the earnings, but be careful with Lululemon. As soon as some kind of recession or some kind of problem hits, it's going to be hit. So be careful with them. So we opened a new position in Brookfield Corporation and it climbed up to 5.88% of our portfolio, and we are in the negative currently. So I'm just going to say the following about Brookfield Corporation. We already did a video back on Friday. Definitely check out that video. This is where we bought Brookfield, actually here on the 11th. Then it went up. This was before the earnings, and we actually wanted to do just a bit of trade, and we missed that window and we're down on our position. We were actually looking forward for the big retracement in Brookfield Corporation, so I made a mistake. I made a judgment call and it was wrong, and I have to live with it. Now, is this a horrible position to be in? No, I believe believe that Brookfield is going to have a massive rise in the next year. But for now, I just say that as always, the price is important. The most important thing is price. So I would have rather got in here than get in here and have now a minus 4% or something like that. But that's the way life is. You have to be on your toes always. Okay, next up, we opened a new position in AbbVie. AbbVie has a huge drop here in the stock price. This is due to a failed trials, level 2 trial, I believe. It failed. They're going to scratch that and they're going to come back to the drawing boards. Now, was this hit justified? I would say no. The stock is on an RSI overbought, on a MACD, on a sell signal. It has had right now, I believe, is more than 15% drop, and it is just perfect for us. Also yields a pretty good dividend. Let's take a look here. It has a 3.76% dividend yield. I know it's 260%, so this is not sustainable. Maybe they're going to cut their dividend. I don't know, but we already locked in. Let's say the next X date is on January, and we're going to hold this. We're going to hold this into the next year. Okay, we also made a couple of trades. We traded Disney. We already had Disney. We sold Disney a couple of weeks back. We had Disney. We bought it back, and before after the earnings, we sold it, made some gains, and that was it. We also did a little trade yesterday on Alibaba before the earnings, due to the fact that, well, China is in a position that China puts themselves into. Although it is a really good stock, it is uninvestable. China is just uninvestable for the moment. Let's see after everything clears up there with Trump. Alibaba is an exceptionally good stock. It also, let me just take it here at Baba, it also yields a dividend, and it's almost oversold. So if this is going to get oversold, I'm definitely going to announce my opinion on should you get in or not. And if it will be the case, then definitely keep an eye on the channel. Remember, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell in order to get notified when we're going to release that video and also other videos, because that's what we're doing here on the channel. We're trying to grow and protect our wealth, and sometimes we manage to do that, sometimes we fail, but that's just part of the process. So that's it about AbbVie. It's an exceptionally good company. I would recommend it, but buying and selling, that's up. You do your own research as always. We also opened a new position, IBM, the international business machine. If you didn't hear about IBM, then maybe because you're not that old as I am. IBM is currently on a rip. We like the stock. I think it has much potential. Also, if they're going to get in there with their quantum computing, that's the next step. So if you thought that AI is the next step, quantum computing will be the next step. But listen, that's maybe 20-30 years from now. But IBM is currently on a rip. This sell-off is not justified. It's just a regular sell-off, and we thought it's a perfect opportunity for us to get in. Are we going to hold this for a long time? I don't know. Currently, I don't know, but I would definitely say keep an eye on IBM. We also added to our S&P 500 ETF. We do that each and every week. We also opened a new position in Duke Energy and locked in that dividend that it has had on the 15th. Now, it seems that it's going to trigger here a buy signal, which is going to push Duke Energy further up. So hopefully there's going to be a good position to hold into the next year. We also opened a brand new position in Google once more. So Alphabet, but this is the GOOGL ticker symbol. So Google Air A-class shares. They're currently triggering a sell signal. And so now, you know what? Let me actually talk about what I think about the next week when we're going to do our risk assessment. Furthermore, we opened a new position in Hims and Hers. I'm going to say it right now. This is a trade position. If it's going to pop, I'm going to sell it. Now, Hims and Hers, if you didn't hear about the company, it's a health service company, provides for him and her. Also beauty care products. It is a interesting company, but for me, it's nothing that I would consider holding for the long term. Okay, so that's pretty much it for our portfolio. Now let's do a risk assessment for the next week. What do you think that the next week holds? First things first, let's do a event tracker. Next week, we only have the building permits as a major event in the US. So I would say, let me also take a look at other countries. Let's also add here, let's add the top 20G. So Australia has the RBM meeting, US has the building permits, Canada has the inflation rate report, Japan's balance of trade, United Kingdom inflation rate report, Japan inflation rate report on Friday, United Kingdom retail sales on Friday, and Germany HCOB manufacturing PMI report. So nothing big should happen next week, but we also have Thanksgiving. We also have Thanksgiving on the 28th, so that's the week after that. So I would say that the market looks pretty good for a rebound. So this is probably what will happen. And if not, then not. But I would say that the market, let's also now open up the S&P here. This is the futures, okay? So this is not the S&P. So it has triggered it is not triggered. triggered. It is on a maybe triggering a sell signal. So MACD sell is not triggered. So I would say that the misspelled triggered here. The risk is high, but if this is going to bounce back, so maybe it's just going to touch it there on Monday and then it's going to bounce back, then we are going to, because it was almost oversold, depending on how you're measuring the RSI. So RSI is now in the 51, which is a medium risk. Major, let's just say the economic news are, well, nothing. So I would say that this is a low risk. I never can say that it's a very low risk because who knows what happens. Maybe the Bank of Japan comes up with something and all hell breaks loose. The presidential election is over. We know pretty much who holds House and Senate. So also no political risk. A geopolitical risk, I don't see any kind of geopolitical risk, but that can always, so geo risk is currently low, medium. I would say medium. They're going now back and forth with what will happen with Israel and what will happen between Russia and Ukraine. So I don't see at the current moment a huge political risk or geopolitical risk. We can also say that market sell-off for 1 week, 5 days, which would now lower the risk in the markets. They always sold off a bit. Could this continue? By all means, it could continue, but I would say there's going to be a really small rebound next week, and we're going to see and watch what the week after that reports. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would say the next week has a medium risk in the market. If you have the possibility of a rebound and you can take off some risk from the table, then please do so. We're going to go into a couple of interesting weeks, let's just say, and I would say reduce risk in your portfolio. Okay, with this being said, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, click that notification bell in order to get notified when we post new videos like this. We post from Mondays to Fridays, and then on the weekends we do our, as you can see here, our portfolio review and our risk assessment for the upcoming week. So a lot of useful stuff. Also, if you want me to look at a specific stock, leave it in the comment section below. With this being said, thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.